As said, every good thing has to come to an end, and so do we too. Today is the concluding part of metals and non-metals. We are going to conclude, and but before concluding, we would love to take all the important learning from this chapter, especially from board's point of view, knowledge point of view, and concept point of view. First thing first, what are the main things that we have taken in this chapter, metals and non-metals? We have discussed in detail, we have learnt in detail all the physical properties of metals as well as non-metals. Then we know the chemical properties of metals and non-metals, and beside that we have learned about ionic compounds, amphoteric oxides, yes, come on, and then reactivity series, the importance of reactivity series, which allows us the flexibility to know whether a reaction can takes place or not even before it is taking place. So do we can now in a better frame of mind that although non-metals do not react with acid, but there are so many acids formed by non-metals when they combine with water. Non-metals combines with water. Non-metallic oxides rather combines with water. Let's recap from both point of view. Obviously, you are going to learn the chemical differences. That's very important between metals and non-metals, differentiate. Now, these are general questions. Specific questions that comes in the board. What is aquaresia and what is its importance? You should be now in a position to tell, as has been taught by me in the previous videos. But still, I would like to recap. Aquaresia is a freshly prepared mixture of or solution of concentrated hydrochloric acid and concentrated nitric acid combined in 3:1 ratio. That means if we are going to make 4 liters of aquaresia, it contains 3 liters of concentrated hydrochloric acid and 1 liter of your nitric acid, concentrated nitric acid. Remember, this is a highly corrosive fuming liquid in which even the noble metals like gold, silver, they also dissolve. They also corrode. So to polish off gold ornaments, this aquaresia is used, in which gold also dissolves. Now your reactivity series. Now this is very important. The position of hydrogen. Yes, this is one question which frequently comes in the paper, in the board paper, especially in school exams, as well as it's a favorite question. Why, although hydrogen is different, hydrogen is a non-metal, but still it finds a place in the reactivity series. Yes, like other atoms, this hydrogen has a tendency to lose electron and it becomes electropositive, and hence it finds a place in the reactivity series. Metals are electropositive. I have told n number of times in the previous videos. They have a tendency to lose electron to become stable, of course, and similarly non-metals have a tendency to attract electrons, and hence they are electronegative. Now all of you must be aware, and you know that the keywords you should learn. You should now imbibe keywords in your answers as much as possible. Your answer here should be crisp, precise, logical answers. Don't write history and chemistry, as I say always in my regular classes also. So it's about just planning your answers beforehand, but before that, lot of thought processes should go on in solid preparation. Base strong होना बहुत जरूरी है, and बहुत सारे प्रॉपर्टीज आज भी हमने डिस्कस किए, और इसके अलावा जो क्वेश्चंस एम्फोटेरिक ऑक्साइड एक ऐसा क्वेश्चन, एम्फोटेरिक ऑक्साइड्स ये एक बहुत पॉपुलर है. जब क्वेश्चन फ्रेम करता है, एक टीचर की साइकोलॉजी होती है कि इसे ज़रूर डालें क्योंकि बच्चे नहीं है, पढ़ा नहीं हुआ, पर आप लोग बहुत स्मार्ट हो, वेरी इंटेलिजेंट, आप ये जरूर पढ़ोगे. एम्फोटेरिक ऑक्साइड्स आर दोज ऑक्साइड्स which behave both as acid as well as base. Yes, we know metal oxides are, yes, basic in nature, are basic in nature. Two tests you can carry on. One, I have told you already, that litmus test, another is phenolphthalein test. If you put a sample of aqueous solution of this metal oxide in, or add few drops of litmus, that is which color, let me tell you, the red litmus, it will turn to blue in color, confirming that metal oxides are generally basic in nature. But there are few metal oxides which behave both as basic as well as acid. Very important, which behave both as acid as well as your basic. For example, aluminium oxide. Yes, aluminium oxide. Aluminium oxide, when combines with concentrated hydrochloric acid, then aluminium chloride along with water is formed. That's simple. Here, aluminium chloride is basic, of course, just like normal metal oxide. But when aluminium oxide combines with sodium hydroxide, it's the strongest base with a pH value of 14. That's the highest pH value. So when it combines with sodium hydroxide, it forms sodium aluminate, NaAlO2. This is a complex salt along with water. In this case, aluminium oxide Al2O3, when combines with sodium hydroxide is a base. Therefore, it is playing as a role of acid here. So acid plus base gives you salt and water. That's neutralization reaction, most of you know. So this aluminium plays both the roles. Similarly, you can give another examples of zinc oxide, ZnO. Zinc oxide is again an amphoteric oxide. It behaves both as acid as well as base. How? Let's take two examples of two reactions here. Zinc oxide, when combines with concentrated hydrochloric acid, then zinc chloride along with hydrogen gas is evolved. In this case, zinc oxide is acting as your base, and it's a normal thing because metal oxides are basic in nature. But when zinc oxide combines with sodium hydroxide, in that case zinc oxide is acting as an acid in which a complex salt sodium zincate is formed, Na2ZnO2. So in both the cases we see aluminum oxide as well as zinc oxide are acting as acid as well as base in two different reactions. So these are amphoteric examples of amphoteric oxide. Now you have to differentiate your answers from others, as I say always, and you can definitely. So all these important questions are the concept that in the concluding part just now I have discussed, along with some more you can go through, and some more logical questions like why gold and silver. It's a common general thing. It's very easy one, is used for jewelry purpose. Say chemical reactivity, they are chemically least reactive, as well as they are ductile, malleable, as well as they have lustrous, unique lustrous property, which makes them very, very special in the jewelry industry. Few more questions, MCQs pattern, now evolving, very short answer type question you should be. So that means what? You have to have a thorough understanding of the chapter. First thing first, you have to study in depth. There is no shortcut to success, as I repeatedly convey in every episode. So keep on working hard, keep on enjoying your daily movements, and be in happy frame of mind. Bye bye and take care.